wrap up the week of live racing on this beautiful Sunday afternoon. We thank you for tuning in to Gulfstream today as Acacia Clement. Oh, I almost said Acacia Courtney and Brian Nato join you. I'm still getting there. I'm still
Can't make fun of Ronnie anymore.
I know. Well, we'll find something else probably. But Brian, we had a great day yesterday with the 3 stakes, and we get ready to wrap up the week today.
Yeah, absolutely. 3 really good performances yesterday. We'll take a look back on that in the lightning round, and then we wrap it up today. Already up to $300,000 in that gross guaranteed Rainbow Six, too.
And maybe it was the new name, but proud to report, and we thank all of you who played Beat the Expert, but I was able to emerge victorious from Beat the Expert. No winners this week. Thank you, everybody, for participating. Ron will be up next week.
I think so.
He had 6 winners
That's
yesterday.
impressive.
Yeah,
That was very impressive because the card was a little difficult. So well done to you. No shirts. We like to give those shirts out.
No shirts, yeah. Well, you'll be in the hot seat next week?
I think Ron and then,
Ronnie,
then I.
You are Florida Derby
Florida
Day.
Derby, yeah.
That'll be exciting. So that'll be back in action. We have the Rainbow Six today as well. So plenty of opportunities to participate there as we have 300,000?
Yeah, 300,000 in the gross jackpot guarantee. There it is. I mean, it paid out last Sunday, a single winner, and here we are 1 week later, already $300,000.
That starts in race number 5 today. 10 races on the card. Let's dive right into it. Early pick 5. Already a pool building there. We start on the Tapeta with a maiden claiming race. Short price favorite early on and probably will be come post time as well.
Yeah, and I singled this horse in my ticket. And these early pick 5s have been huge. The pools have been really, really big. Don't forget, there's no carryover in the early pick 5. So the singled off right off the rip. We'll get to this race in a second. 62 in race 2. King Cairo came out. I was using him, so now we go Whiskey Sunrise on the outside. A little bit of a spread in the 3rd. Shansu. We'll show the replay coming up. I think that one's in a good spot. The spread comes in race 4. I go down inside for Patagonian Empire on the drop. On the trainer change to Fausto Gutierrez, which has been a pretty good angle throughout the course of the championship meet. Long shot play of the day is Big Blue, running on turf for the first time for since the Cheryl Weinbach claims. Got some back turf races that would play with this group.
I like it. Golden Indy, the single right off the bat. We're going to rip the Band-Aid off right at the start. $36 play. And again, we're on the Tapeta going about 1 mile and a 16th, maiden claiming for 16,000, 3-year-olds and upward. Golden Indy, it's a drop in class, going back to a distance of ground, clearly not a sprinter. A lot of changes for this gelding today.
Man, to me, he's got to win, Acacia, and I don't trust him. I wouldn't want him. He's odds on as I look over at the screen. I think he should be. Let's draw a line through the dirt sprint. It didn't work out last time. Now JT's going to route him on Tapeta. He's going to run with blinkers on for the first time, going 2 turns. You know, he handled turf pretty well in both of his first 2 starts. Now he's going to try the Tapeta. We usually think that works out. And if it's not him, it's who is it? That's the other problem here, too. And I'm not going to use the all ball in this kind of race. I didn't see a lot in here. To me, it's got to be the day. I like what you're doing, though, because I don't trust this horse either.
I don't. And look, I mean, Golden Indy should win today. That's with the drop in class, with his speed, with the connections. He should win today. So we'll see what happens. I was just thinking he's going to be such a short price. And as you said, not really a trustworthy type. I don't think anybody's trustworthy in here. But I'm hoping Where's Val can kind of just find the right spot today. This was a horse that was kind of all over the place in his debut. He was a little bit distracted prior. I was hesitant with him going into that race. First of all, it was a really salty 9-furlong turf race for maiden special weight. That was a very tough field. And he had been previously entered for $20,000 at Aqueduct prior to that race. So I don't take the drop now as such a negative because that's clearly what Jerry O'Dwyer had thought initially was what he was worth. And you understand paying 6 figures for a horse, you want to at least give them a shot in maiden special weight. I just think this is the logical spot for him. Yeah,
I tried to make this horse. I really did. You know, you're familiar with the race, QF75. He wasn't loose that day, but he was controlling throughout, and he's okay. This one was 64-1 that day, so obviously that winning wasn't part of the plan. We come back as a first-time gelding, and I just really tried. Jerry's overdue to get a win. He's a really, really good horseman that should be winning races down here. 30% second out starts with maiden, so there's reason to think where's value. This is the money run today. And if Golden Indy, you know, let's be honest, Golden Indy was not good at all last time. And you know, he's by Bernardini out of Medaglia d'Oro Manor. He's supposed to be able to run on the dirt a little bit. He didn't. So you're allowed to look elsewhere.
Den Street, the first-time starter, I think is probably the wild card of the race. Firsters for the Rohan Crichton barn, not the most productive move, but he's pretty good at just about everything else, and maybe this is just the right spot.
Yeah, and he's used Victor LeBron for a couple wins at the championship meet, so there's no, nothing to look into there, and maybe this is the right spot, because if this horse can run at all, he's got to play with this group.
Second race today is on the main track, 5.5 furlongs, $12,000 down to $10,000 claiming tag. This is for 4-year-olds and upward, which have never won 3 races. A couple scratches, or I should say a scratch in here. I go to the number 2, Where's Joey, off the claim for Carlos David. I've got Where's Val and the Where's Joey double, so hopefully that works out.
This horse ran well last time, didn't he? He's going to rise in class now, but, looks like Carlos made the claim at the right time, and he's 31% off the claim. This horse aired. It's a compact field. Probably the 2 best horses, and the 2 horses we have are going to hook up early, and they're going to hook up often, but I don't see a lot behind them that might be able to run them down even if they go crazy.
And new claims look strong. You go to Jose D'Angelo off the claim with Whiskey Sunrise.
Well, the benefit to me with Whiskey Sunrise is he's outside Where's Joey, and that's a big deal. Honestly, if Where's Joey was outside Whiskey Sunrise, I probably would have swapped him, but it's advantageous to be outside. It's Jose off the claim. He's everywhere. He's winning everywhere. Here's Irad, too, and you go against this barn at your own peril.
And just quickly going back to Where's Joey, I forgot we had a trainer stat for Carlos David, and it is a good one too. This is first off the claim with winners last time out. He's 35% winning. 71% in the money. They do tend to take a lot of money. I think with the presence of Whiskey Sunrise, that one will take some attention as well. But if you're worried about potentially keeping that momentum going, the numbers do back that up for Where's Joey as well. We're on the turf for the 3rd race, going a mile, allowance optional claiming for 3-year-olds and upward. Quality certainly picking up here. We have our exacta flip-flopped, as Ronnie would say. You go to Chanso to the outside for Todd Pletcher.
Yeah, let's take a look at the replay, too. 2 back, where he just ran too good to lose. And I honestly thought he should have won this day. And, you don't like to give up a late lead, but his stablemate, Grand Sonata, who nails him on the wire, is pretty good in his own right. He came back to win his stakes. And, Chansu, there was his first route, first 2-turn race as well. So I think you can be a little forgiving. He's drawn outside today. It's the right spot. He gets to run with Lasix again. He didn't have it on here, being a stakes race. And he ran huge in here. And Grand Sonata, like his barn buddy, it was pretty good too, nailing him on the line. But I think this is the defining race in this race. It's a good field, though.
Yeah, it certainly is. And as you mentioned, those 2 just down to the wire. Grand Sonata got him, who obviously has a lot of quality too. Showed speed and then stopped over at Houston last time out, but I think he's back to a turf that he does prefer. Yeah. First time on the turf for Be Like Clint, the number 2 for Brendan Walsh, but it was taken off the turf last time, and I had written I wanted to see him try the turf. They also put blinkers on, and I think that he's probably going to be one that's going to be forwardly placed. Chanso, the speed to the outside, and I think Be Like Clint will not be too far off of it.
No, I agree. He's drawn well and added Lasix last time and ran well. Now we're second off a little bit of a layoff. Second time in the barn, too, which I always think is a good angle because, sometimes it takes a start or two to figure out the horse, the blinkers for a little more focus. And he's got turf in there. He's my point of entry. So there's plenty of turf in here. And he handled the Tapito well at Woodbine, at Gulfstream. And again, we say it every single day, not the end all be all, but you would like to think if they can handle that, they can handle this today.
And meanwhile, a horse hoping that there is plenty of speed on the front end is the 6 Rocket 1 for Bill Mott, getting back on the turf. Broke his maiden on the grass at Kentucky Downs. He didn't run terribly in the Grade 2 Bourbon on turf, given who he was facing.
Yeah, and I don't think it's a surprise, though, that we both have him in 3rd because, as we both know, that's not the running style to get it done on this turf course. We're going a snappy mile here. And a horse like Rocket 1, who does have talent, I thought his comeback was pretty good on the Tapito last time. And you're right, the Bourbon was, Tis the Bomb would be 1 to 100 in this field. But when you're spotting in the entire group, open lengths, entering the far turn, you're going to need some hitting up front to run him down. I'm not sure he's going to get it in here.
Good race there in the third as we're back on the main track for the fourth race. 6 furlongs, maiden claiming for 16,000, 3-year-olds and upward. We'll start with your runner down to the inside, Patagonian Empire, and we'll throw the stat up for Fausto Gutierrez. I know this is something that caught your eye as well. First after the trainer change for Fausto and going from maiden special weight to maiden claiming. Limited sample size, but he's had a lot of success.
Yeah, he does such a good job, and, you know, he's trained a champion in Latruska and brought her back. It was great to see, but, you know, on a day-in, day-out basis, he's running live horses here that have quite frankly, have outperformed their odds quite often at the meet. And I just thought, you know, this is kind of like the first race in here. You're allowed to think outside the box a little bit if you don't like the favorites. And Patagonian Empire takes a maiden special weight drop. Listen, didn't do any running at Tampa. The winner was a Pletcher horse who was good that day. Came here and wasn't very good. But now we add Lasix. You know, the drop is seismic, and you look at the stats, 29% overall, first time in the barn. Up 5 for 11 off this kind of little middling layoff, too. 3 for 9 adding Lasix. There's reasons to think Patagonian Empire is going to wake up today.
I agree. I thought he was a huge player. I did take a little bit of a shot with the first-time starter. The Dan Pita barn has been going pretty well recently. This one's been just firing bullets in the morning up at Palmettos. I know, you know, sometimes we'll see some quick works up there, but does debut for 16. Red Sky tonight, that is, the number 6, and hoping that he's ready and just finds the right field, kind of similar to what we were talking about in the opener with the firster being the wild card. Sometimes you find a race like this and you just want the one with the least amount of excuses.
100%, and I don't think you see too many bullets in the holster and $16,000 maiden claimers with first-time starters. So tab the board and check it out. The big beasts they've been relatively precocious. And listen, we didn't, you know, Patagonian Emperor is not a first-time starter, but he kind of sort of is with the angles. Red Sky tonight, Freddie's music as well. We just want new faces in this race.
Looking for the ones who are a little bit fresh there in the fourth race. With that, we'll take a quick time out. When we come back, we'll be on the turf for the fifth race and the start of today's 20-cent Rainbow Six.
And they're off. Second in the two-path. Round by first inside. Race. And a quarter of a mile to go, and he's 6 on top. Last of the 12 as they roll into the backstretch.
Welcome back to Gulfstream today. Acacia and Brian, happy to have you with us as we are about halfway through this 10-race card. And with that, we are on to race number 5 on the turf. And it does start today's 20-cent Rainbow Six, $300,000 in the gross jackpot guarantee. And Ron Nicoletti, the one and only, put together a ticket. And all is right in the world, Brian. 4320.
I had a feeling, a little hunch. So we'll get to this race in a second. Ronnie goes 3 deep. He's got 3-5 in race 6. Irad riding the hot hand. He's on a wow run in race 7. He goes 3 deep. And Mr. Tito's, his old buddy, Kitten Street, as well as Hard Bell, a little bit more condensed in the 8th. New York Girl's going to be a big, big favorite in there. I think she's a logical single to me. She's my best bet of the day. In the 9th, he's got 1-5 Absolute Grit. We'll actually show the replay of Absolute Grit and Doc Amster, actually. We've got a couple of replays to show out of race 9. And then in the finale, you know what? I don't know if he's got his long shot in here. He usually does, but he's going 3 deep. So we'll see what happens there. Ready, Candy, and then in the middle, something right, and open the gate. So there it is, 43-20, the playbook.
That's it, and a fun sequence as well. Kick things off going a mile and a 16th on the turf. $20,000 down to $16,000 claiming race for 3-year-olds and up, which have never won 2 races here in the first leg. And let's start it off with Big Blue, because I know you like this horse at a bit of a price. Second time for Cheryl Weinbach.
Yeah, this is my long shot play of the day. I think 10s on the morning line, and so not a lot happening on the Tapeta. I get it, but look at the turf races. You got to dig a little bit, but they're in there, facing better, very quietly. Cheryl Weinblatt's had a nice meet, nice championship meet. She's been winning some races, dirt sprinting, routing, and doing all sorts of different things. This horse has a win here on the Gulfstream lawn. Julien Leparoux gets aboard. And the theme of the day, it's another race where whoever you like and whoever are the favorites, they're not overwhelming by any stretch of the imagination.
Yeah, for sure. Even down to the inside, the Great Oz is where I landed. 2 starts back at this level, ran a good second. I'm just hoping that, once again, he's a little bit more tactical and forwardly placed from the inside, hoping he could get a little bit of a trip. And I just wasn't. Again, I wasn't enamored with anyone in here, and thinking that this was going to be one who could stalk from the inside. Tried 35 last time, didn't run badly. The concern is that he seems to be a type of horse that runs to his competition. Yeah. But I think he's back at the right level today.
No, 1 for 14, and that's a little disconcerting, but I've got him in my mix too, and you're going to save ground. He's tactical, coming out of some decent races in the drop-in class. You know, that Ricochet race was pretty good last time.
Royale, the 6, did break his maiden wiring the field, but that was going a mile and 3/8 at Belmont. He's going a mile and a 16th today. Is it too short? It is a drop-in class. He did debut for 40 for what it's worth, so I wouldn't take too much stock in the drop, but do wonder about the distance.
Yeah, you know, that's a good point, actually, because I was looking at this horse while you were talking, saying this doesn't make sense. But he did debut for 40, so you can be a little forgiving. He didn't do any running last time. Maybe it was the Tapeta. Who knows? Maybe he needed it off the break. But you're right. It's going to be pretty sharp for him at a mile and 16th.
Yeah, we'll see how he handles it to his inside, the 5 Mean Machine. We both have this one in the mixed. He ran 3rd as the favorite last time. Once again, can he break through in here?
Yeah, I mean, Jose rode last time. He's going to stick around and ride him again. That's a positive, but you're right. He's kind of basically runs the same race every time, and when you're that kind of horse, you're at the mercy of someone else jumping up and running a big race because you're just doing your own thing there.
On to the Tapeta for the 6th race. We're going about 5.5 furlongs, $20,000 claiming race for the 3-year-olds, and the late pick 5 kicks off here.
Take a look at it. We scratched down to $30. We'll talk about this. The spread is in race 7. I just wanted to throw a blanket on it. I'm using 5 of the 7. The 2 actually is on top for me. Stay Home for Jeff Hiles, who's another one of those barns you don't hear a lot about, but boy, oh boy, has done very, very well at the championship meet. New York Girl, as I mentioned, going to be a very, very heavy favorite in the 8th, my play of the day. Got to get some value by singling her, I think. Absolute Grid, we were going to talk about the 2 horses Ronnie used. I'm using them too. Doc Amster had too good to lose last time. And then in race 10, I go on top, number 7, Super Duper Ready. And we'll have the replay of that one too.
I like it, $30 play, and yeah, especially with King's Harlequin out, I think singling New York Girl, a good way to get through this late pick 5 sequence, or perhaps the Rainbow 6 if you're playing that as well. Again, on the Tapeta for the 6th race, and taking a look at the picks here, which does kick off this late pick 5. Let's start with your top pick, Frosted Armor for Antonio Sano and Jose Ortiz. They have been a potent duo.
You know, Antonio does a really good job putting his horses in the right spots. And this horse was good last time on the dirt and wasn't very good on the Tapeta 2-back, but I'm going to just kind of go in Antonio we trust. And, you know, Luca Go, who won 2-back, was pretty solid. Now he faces some horses that he lost to, but you mentioned Jose. They're 23% together. So when Antonio reaches for Jose or Irad, it's with some intent, and just maybe this horse is in the right form now, going back the right way.
I go to the number 2, Sovereign of Speed, faced Luca Go last time as well. That horse loves the Tapeta, by the way. He's kind of found his home there. 2 starts back, ran against a really tough field. So I'm hoping it's a drop in class that's going to be a key for this one. And I thought with some speed right to his inside, you know, back at you with Apprentice Elsa Morrison, will likely send. Wow Run is not really slow. Thought this one could kind of tuck right behind under Junior Alvarado.
No, you're definitely right. The flow of this race says Sovereign of Speed could make a dent in here late. He came out of a closer's race last time and didn't really make a dent, but you're right. And Chris Davis is you know, going the right direction. He's had so many tough beats and horses that have won winning races and haven't won, but the barn's trending upwards and does a very, very good job on the Tapeta as well.
Tell me about the 5, similar taste. This one goes back to sprinting today.
Yeah, and I think actually that's a good thing, because I'm hoping what's going to happen is he's going to get run off his feet a little bit, and that puts him in the right spot as opposed to pressing or dueling from the outside. Jennifer Young off the claim, got to improve from Marcassi. Easier said than done, but it's an aggressive rising class. Source didn't run poorly last time, went 4th, and I think can trip out with some Tapeta experience behind him too.
Onto the main track for the 7th race today. We're going a mile, $12,500 claiming race for 4-year-olds and upward. And let's start it off with the number 2, Stay Home, for Jeff Isles, who you like. I agree, this horse on the drop is a player, second off the layoff too. And this is a barn who the horses have been running, I think, in the right spot.
I agree. I dislike this horse the least in this field. That's basically, you saw my pick 5. I've got 5 of them. I don't have any strong opinion in here, but if nothing else, the drop has got to help Stay Home, right? I mean, he's been facing much better, and last time he faced much better off a long layoff as well. We talked about Jeff Hiles quietly just having a really strong meet, putting horses in the right spot where they can win. You know, I don't have any information here, but you kind of look at this race last time and said, you know what, just maybe this was the plan all along. He's in a spot where he can't get claimed. He gets the tightener out of the way. Now we come for the money run at 12.5.
I went to the 6th, the Mighty Judge, 3rd time in the barn of Marty Drexler. And this is a horse that we were actually familiar with a while ago down here in South Florida. He went up to Fort Erie and Woodbine and was running up there. I think that Tapeta is still a little bit of a question for him. Oh, excuse me. He's actually on the main track here, which is a good thing because he won on the dirt at Fort Erie a couple races back. But once again, second off the bit of a layoff, a drop in class. He has been gelded too. I thought that he was better than what we saw last time.
He had a good run, huh? 7 years as a horse, and now
yeah, I know.
As a gelding. He's the same as Stay Home, right?
Yeah.
I mean, he's dropping to find his level, right? And he's danced a lot of dances. Marty's had a really good championship meet, his first winner here in South Florida, and he's another trainer that puts them where they can win. You would think the Mighty Judge. I love Jose getting aboard here too.
Yeah. I believe a morning line favorite is Mr. Tito's, the 4, who did finish second at this level last time out. He was more of a 62.50 type, and he showed stepping up to 12.5. He could take it last time out. Can he repeat that effort or even improve off of it?
He's fine, right?
Yeah.
He got no knocks against him. He's a cool old dude, and he tries and he runs his race. But, you know, if you're taking a short number on him, I don't advise it. In a spot like this, I know he's got a win showing 3 back, but I'm not sure if he's getting back to that race to me.
Yeah, you got some hard-knocking geldings and campaigners in that race. Couple of 8-year-olds, couple of 7-year-olds, and they'll be fun to watch as they throw it down once again. 8th race, we've talked about this horse a little bit already today. A mile on the turf, allowance optional claiming for fillies and mares. New York girl, first time we're seeing her since the Boston Spa in Saratoga. I know that she didn't win a graded stake here in the U.S., but she's run with some of the top company in the division all of 2021.
Yeah, I mean, she had a very successful 4-year-old campaign for Bill Mott. We're actually going to show the Turf Mile at Churchill. That's Derby Day. And here's Chad's loose on the lead here with the winner, who is Blowout, who's super nice. And New York Girl's going to give her a run in deep stretch. And she threatened to win about 4 or 5 graded stakes last year. She didn't get it done, but now she's a lightly raced 5-year-old. I would bet a beer she's going to get a couple of them this year because she's really good. The other thing too, Acacia, she won off Works here last year in a very similar kind of layoff. It was September to December. We're a little longer this year, but who's better than Bill Mott, the most, one of the best horsemen we've ever seen, and he's 24% off this elongated layoff. She's going to be a big, heavy favorite. I think she would have been a real heavy favorite even if King's Harlequin was in. Now her main rival is out. To me, she lays over this field.
Yep, first start since the end of August, or around Travers time.
Yep.
But she finished 5th behind Viadera, who was on a big roll last summer as well. And I think even you look at her European form, which I remember when she debuted in the U.S. here at Gulfstream, and her European form, those horses that she was facing over there with Champs-Élysées, Pepper, Peaceful, those are really tough horses. So she's, I think, the class of the field. Beyond that, now again with King's Harlequin out, I think it really opens things up quite a bit. I go to Lashara in second. She's now with Brian Lynch, but she's one that I always had high hopes for to be a talented filly. She's got a layoff to deal with as well. She has an outside post, but I thought that she had a touch of class, and I'll be curious to see her and see if she's developed a little bit more now as a 5-year-old.
probably a bit over her head in the Mint Julep, but let's just draw a line through that race and all her other races, with the exception of New York Girl, put her right in the mix with anybody in here. She's tactical enough where hopefully she can negate this tough outside draw. You know, that's up to Julian to see what he does if he goes a little bit to try to save some ground into the first turn. But, you know, you said it. She's another one. Lightly raced 5-year-old now in the hands of Brian Lynch. She could have a real nice year.
Layoffs in class are kind of the themes of this race. Market Rumor hasn't raced since October for Ian Wilkes. She also faced some really nice horses in her last couple starts.
You know, you brought up a really good point, too, because about New York Girl. If she was facing Market Rumor, if she was facing Lashara, and they had races behind them, maybe I'd have a little more trepidation, but they're all in the same boat, and she's just better than these horses. Market Rumor's another very similar to some of these other horses we've talked about. Had a nice campaign for Ian Wilkes last year, 5 for 6 in the exacta. She's eligible to do some good things now as a bigger, stronger, tougher 5-year-old. I just think they're all looking up at New York Girl today.
Havana Love, kind of the one who you could say kind of had a foundation race. Now she gets on the turf, second time in the U.S.
You could do worse than coming up with her at a square price. The board's going to be blown out here a little bit because of New York Girl, and you said it perfectly. She ran some very nice races in Europe, you know, and now she's second-time Brendan, and she's second-time U.S., and she's getting back to the turf, saving all the ground down inside.
That's a nice one there in the 8th. Looking forward to that turf allowance race today. Main track for the 9th, 5.5 furlongs for 4-year-olds and upward starter allowance here. And the number 5, Doc Amster. Let's start with him because I know we have the replay of a couple in here, but he is cool. He ran a big race being first captain last time.
I'm the one that pulled this replay up. I got to watch it again after I got nailed on the line here. But here's first captain Lupin in his comeback, and here's Doc Amster just doling it out on the front end. And you know, Chantel, we've talked about this so many times. She's putting all these horses in the right spots, and they really, really run for her. Just got nipped on the line by first captain, who's got a lot of class, is going to go run in a Grade 1 in his next start. So you can't take anything away from Doc Amster. Can he double up, though, Acacia? Boy, this was a heartbreaker, and he ran so big.
He really ran a huge race that day. I thought he had it at this point, to be honest with you. And I could see Brian struggling next to me here just watching this replay. First captain just in the nick of time. Faced miles ahead, 2 starts back, too. It's also a really classy horse. I thought this was is a class drop versus what he's been facing recently. Really super, super cool horse. I went with him today. Absolute grit, though, as you brought up. He's kind of got that recent win.
Yeah, let's take a look at that one. And it was a devastating performance. And he's actually, here he is down inside the 3 horse. And he's got a weight a touch, too. Or, I mean, he wins by open lengths, 3 3/4. And I don't know what it would have been if he had a clear run because, you know, he's just biding his time here and just waiting. And he's going to inhale these horses when he does finally get free. It's a rising class today, even though it's at the same level. You're right. Doc Amster has so much class for these. He gets to play for the starter 25. But, I mean, this horse got nowhere to go. And he does it the right way. And it's that guy again, Rohan Crichton, just doing everything right.
And he has 2 in here as well. September 10 doesn't seem to stack up, but he will be one running late, and then he's got one that's going to be a little bit more tactical and absolute grit. Keeps Irad Ortiz second off the claim as well, looking to go 2 for 2. Big performance there over Smiling Coatfuls, who has been in good form for Danny Hertak as well. He's turned things around for sure, but cool group there in the 9th race as we go on to race number 10, the nightcap here on the turf, a mile and a 16th. Maiden claiming for $35,000 for the 3-year-old fillies, and a little bit all over the place here. I have my long shot in this race. I don't know if Ronnie has a get-out race long shot today, but I'm going to try to get a price and take a page out of the Nicoletti Gulfstream handbook with a nightcap long shot. Ready Candy has a big turf pedigree. Dan was multiple stakes winner, won 4 times on the grass. Kelly Breen's barn has been in a good groove lately. Picks up Louis Saez, which I found encouraging. I know she didn't do too much yet, but hoping that the grass will help her take a step forward at a nice price.
I think Kelly won on the grass off the claim yesterday, and as you said, the barn's trending upward. It's this type of race. Let's look for a price, and Ready Candy's down inside, going to save ground. I would like to hope she's in the race a little bit more early on. She's only run twice. You know, it's tough to win 2 turns on the Tapeta in your first start, even your second start. She's got a lot of foundation to run well in here.
A similar kind of look to Super Duper Ready, who you land on, gets on the turf for the first time.
Yeah, do we have a replay? I forgot. I pulled it up. I forgot to put it on the run. Good stuff. Thank you, guys. So here she she is on the outside, okay? She's the 13. I was actually better this day. I was counting my money here. She's going to spring clear, and just watch where she is, okay? The finishing order is 1, 4, 13. They're nowhere to be found. I mean, here's the 4 ranging up. Point being, she does all the dirty work. The 8 and the 12 get buried. They stop on a dime. She kicks clear. I thought she was home. In hindsight, she probably moved too early. I think she probably just took Edwin Gonzalez there, and he was in a tough spot. Hey, I got to go. Let's try to gut this field off the far turn. So she comes off the bridle a little bit late. I thought it was an encouraging effort. I thought it was one of those sneaky good runs where you go back and watch the race, and the horses that were with her early were nowhere late. Here she is digging in. Now she gets to turf. She tried to get to turf last time. You know, it's again, Acacia, it's that type of race. Let's try to look for some kind of value in here.
No, certainly is. And she's got a little bit of a better post to deal with today, too, versus what she had to navigate last time. To her inside, the number 6, Something Right. The other one for Mark Cassie. He has 2 in this race. This one does have some turf foundation. Actually comes out of a pretty live race at the fairgrounds.
Yeah, the winner comes right back to win. The winner was good that day. So, yeah, you said it. Comes out of a live race. Wasn't really bet that day. But I think her style is probably going to play a little better here over our turf course as opposed to the fairgrounds, which can be a little bit deep, can be a little bit testing. We get a speedier turf course here. Irad will put her in the game early, and you're going to know her early and often.
And do note with scratches, the 13, Jamie's Warrior draws in from the outside for Josie Carroll. Has run some fine races on the turf, especially 2 back. So do note that she will be in. And both you and I thought that she merited a top 4 position.
Yeah, I moved her up. I mean, the post is dreadful, but she's got some solid enough form to play with this kind of group.
That's the 10-race card. Not done yet, though. We have today's lightning round, and as you might have guessed, it will largely be recapping what we saw yesterday because we had some pretty nice performances on yesterday's card.
Yeah, we really did. 3 stakes yesterday, and all the winners were really, really good. We'll start with the 3-year-olds, which is, you know, we always kind of like to talk about them, and Provocateur comes back, and Irad won 4 on the day. Luis won 3 yesterday, but this horse was good because Nitrous Channel was so good on debut for George Weaver. Provocateur just beat him.
And you have to think, too, that there still is blue sky for Nitrous Channel. This was just his second start. It was off of a huge maiden effort. First time into stakes company. Provocateur had a little bit more foundation. And Todd Pletcher saying they kind of figured out where he belonged, too. He was a little confusing at the start, but clearly he is a dirt sprinter. And speaking of figuring out a horse, I think you could say Laura Casares has certainly done that.
Oh, shame on all of us for letting this horse pay $14 yesterday. He was the fastest horse in the race, and he had a huge win in the Grade 3 right here, and Yes, I'm Free just doubles right up and did it in good fashion, too.
And it's interesting, too. Warrior's Pride nearly wired the field every step of the way. There wasn't as much pace pressure as we thought, but this horse just set the perfect trip once again.
Yeah, I agree, and I know Arrest Me Red maybe didn't have the best trip that day, but I got to be honest, I don't think he's winning anyway. This horse is really, really good right now.
No, huge performance, and a huge performance from Ralph Nick's filly, Spirit Wind, as well. She just ran a hole in the wind yesterday.
She just bottomed out the entire field. There's no doubt about it. My best bet of the day was One Identity, and she got an absolutely dream setup, and Spirit Wind just freaked again to double up. She beat Florida Breds in her maiden comeback win, and now she does it against open stakes. You know, you don't see 21-4 and 44-1, and like I said, she just ran the field off their feet.
Very, very fast and exciting filly for Ralph Nix and Jacks Are Better, as we have been reminding you, and the time is nearly up for your opportunity to get involved and vote for that Preakness art.
This is it. I think it closes today, and it's a great cause, and you can go to the website. You can check out all these, you know, this art here, voting for the Preakness. It's the Maryland Institute College of Art, $4,000, I believe, to the winner. So go support a good cause.
Yep, make sure you check that out. And, of course, tickets on sale as well for Preakness, which will be in May, a couple weeks after the Kentucky Derby. So that'll do it for the lightning round and the run-through of today's 10-race card. Ron Nicoletti will be joining us shortly. Glad to have you along with us on this Sunday afternoon as we head over to track announcer Pete Aiello for scratches and changes.
I remember the first time I came to Gulfstream, it was like this big fairy tale place.
We back.
Northern Dancer, winner of the Florida Derby.
Yeah.
All the history, all these great horses, trainers, jockeys.
It is Barbaro to the final furlong. He is a neck in front. Barbaro wins!
It was everything that I ever dreamed of.
Sunday silence surges to the front.
First day, opening day of the championship meet, I was kind of starstruck. You're watching LeBron James, and then next thing you know, you're playing basketball against him. That's how I felt when I'm riding with Donnie V, riding with Irad, Luis.
So many famous people come, Post Malone, Pharrell, J-Lo was there. It's epic.
The weather is beautiful. The facility is phenomenal.
It's all about Knicks Go. Knicks Go makes it 4 in a row.
It's one of the most beautiful tracks in the country, surrounded by some of the greatest horses and riders. It's amazing.